Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Memphis Room. My name is Scott Lillard, and I'm here with Wayne Dowdy, the manager of the History Department. I'm one of the staff here in the History Department, and we're looking at a collection of films from the early to mid 1960s from the Thomas E. Maxson collection. He was a city engineer for the city of Memphis starting in 1962. Wayne and I will be taking a look at them and just kind of going through the contents of them. Thank you for joining us. So this is from around Jackson Avenue.
Yeah.
I don't know if you recognize any point.
No, a little bit. And it's interesting, though, is the first shot. Well, there's Esso, which becomes Exxon. And just how neighborhood-oriented everything. I mean, that's a beautiful example of the architecture of filling stations at that time. And the neighborhood grocery stores and sundry stores, which don't exist anymore, is fascinating. Of course, everybody loves seeing the old cars. Those concrete street signs were around until the mid 70s. So
that actually is an area I know Danny Thomas kind of blew up. This area used to be a street.
Right. Exactly.
But some of the reconstruction of the streets kind of took it out.
Right. Exactly. For the building of St. Jude, the housing authority. But I mean, we see. What's also interesting about those films is we can see what the original purpose was, which was to identify specific streets, always making sure to get the names of the streets, because the engineer is not recording this as a historical document. He's doing it for his purposes of rerouting streets or clearing areas or whatever it is they're going to do.
Yeah, like this one's actually the railroad bridge on Hollywood between Union and Avery, actually, which is kind of cool.
Okay.
It's like you can see them kind of building it. That would you probably I know you and I have both driven across that,
of course, hundreds of times. Yes. So is everybody who's watching this, and just to see it. I mean, we see what people were seeing who were driving through Memphis in the early 1960s, and seeing how the city's landscape is really beginning to change because of the development of highways, the building of new bridges within the city. So, the city is growing from a much smaller street grid and so on, and becoming more complex.
You can see the train and everything.
Exactly.
I think that's the Union viaduct. I don't know if it's a bridge over the railroad.
That's right.
I know this is kind of near the Georgian Woods apartments right now.
Very close to that. So, I mean, we take it for granted now. Just we're on Walnut Grove, and we just keep going, and it becomes Union without much thought. But of course, at that point, you had to go a completely different way.
Yeah. I mean, it's I think that's near the Board of Education.
Yeah, that's Hollywood right there. Extended, Avery to Union, yes.
This next one, I'm trying to remember what comes next, but there's a little more, but you can see the finished, the finished.
It's just amazing. It looks the same, more or less.
Yeah, you can go in Google Street View and see almost the exact same thing. Now, obviously different cars and everything.
So see, you would have had to have gone down to, if you were on Walnut Grove / Union Extended, you would have had to turn off before the bridge, or stay on Poplar and go around probably.
That's Interstate 55, near Kansas and Florida.
Yes.
I was we actually went on Google Street View and found those buildings right there.
Mm-hmm.
Everything you can see them today, although actually one of them is painted white. But yeah, like you remember like the whole interstate controversy and everything.
Oh yes, indeed, well, there were two controversies. I mean, there was a local controversy in the sense during this time when we're starting to see a little bit of movement on the creation of local expressways that will connect to the state and federal highway system. But there's a lot of opposition. Mayor Henry Loeb, in particular, is opposed. Doesn't want to spend city money to build these highways to relieve traffic congestion in the downtown midtown area.
Yeah.
But there are commissioners who, of course, are pushing it, and they override the mayor and get it started, which is where the Union Extended and the Hollywood extension that we're seeing, that we just saw, being built.
That's the Memphis airport, like, you know, right there. There, it thought it'd be kind of cool. This is actually a short little thing, like it's like a minute of he's actually flying to a conference.
Well, and we see, I mean, look at that. That's the airport is still being built, and we saw the Roy Harrover front facade of the airport.
Yeah. All right, it's like
The river's a little low.
yeah. All right, it's like, you know, in a second it'll actually show the Mud Island Airport that they don't have there anymore.
Right.
All right, it's like, you know, you can see the little airplanes right there,
Right.
kind of barely.
Right. Which it was I believe, on the southern end of Mud Island. So that would make sense that it would be.
You told me Lucius Burke used to use that almost every day.
Yes. So see, and now we're seeing Riverside Drive. So it's definitely on the south end, in the old, river barges, and yeah, there's Tom Lee Park.
Yeah, they changed the memorial now.
Well, yes, much better.
Yeah. Is that Ellis Auditorium, or is that like, you know, I can't. I know. No, I probably.
That's yeah. So see, yeah, that was always a popular place to.
The Harahan Bridge
Right.
and everything in the Memphis, Arkansas. Oh, that's no longer there.
No, so they're building, or is this the back end of?
That's the back end of
Okay, that's the
Baptist.
back end of Baptist. Yeah, where they're building I guess a garage, parking garage. Is that what?
I guess he's
Or is it that, or they're building?
he's doing some sort of survey.
Right.
We don't know exactly what he's up to necessarily, because
Well, he's chronicling how the city is growing at that point.
that's more of the medical district and everything. It's like maybe another view of Baptist, I think.
Oh yes, that would be Union right there.
Yeah.
That cross street is Union, so that's going to be Dunlap over in that area.
That David was talking about how he thinks this coming up is going to be the Red Cross building around like right opposite Ashler Hall.
Right, which is on Central. Right.
Yeah.
Just I mean, I think I don't know if the street is, yeah, because that's Central and Lamar.
And we know who lived there later on.
Well, he owned it for a while. I know. I don't know if he actually lived there or what he did, but Prince Mongo did own it for a while. I remember seeing a clip of him when he first bought it, telling the neighbors with a bullhorn, "I'm gonna be your neighbor," and they were not terribly happy about that.
No, because like he used to throw parties at that place.
He did, and it was trying to make it into a party. Yeah.
That I don't know where that is, but it's probably over on Central.
Yeah.
This is South Parkway.
Right.
That's South Parkway.
Exactly.
And like he's doing some survey of like the area around South Parkway and everything. It's like it's kind of near Riverside Drive and everything, or no, Riverside Park or something like that. It's
Yeah, it gets into Riverside's in South Memphis, the old Riverside Park.
yeah.
But this is
That's a church. We identified that one. I can't remember the name.
I think that's
Have it on they have it on like the document that we produced on like what exactly is what and everything. As you can tell, like the camera's shaking a ton because he's like driving.
I hope somebody else is taking the footage while he's driving.
Yeah, he kind of goes through these. Like kind of side streets into neighborhoods, and it's taking a look at taking footage. And I'm not entirely sure what he's doing. Is he trying to is he doing a survey for like a sewer line or something? I don't know.
Could be. And see, this is in a poor area in the city that certainly.
Yeah, that is a beauty shop. That's a sign for some sort of beauty shop that we found, and that's that one we found. That church, I think, is called Church of the Women and everything, but we couldn't find anything in the city directory about it.
Okay.
And everything, which is kind of a little sad, but I think there's going to be some more street signs coming up and everything.
Well, but it's yeah.
Oh, this part you'll recognize this.
Oh yes, because this is the that's coming out of the old bus barn.
Your dad.
My dad worked there. That's at Linden and Walnut. He sure did, and worked on those buses every day.
What? Go ahead.
No, just the advertisement for Channel 5. The Virginian will be on at 6:30.
Did you go watch that?
I don't remember the Virginian. That would have been a little. I mean, it was on when I was a kid, but it was not. My parents were not big Western fans. Watched a little bit, but
I know they have some of the buses have little advertisements for Dragnet.
oh yes.
He's clearly driving right here. Somebody's driving something. He's
It almost looks like it may be a truck or something. Always he's higher up in the.
yeah, maybe a city truck or something.
Yeah, that's would be my guess.
Because this is all kind of in the Beale Street-ish area and everything. Bus barn again.
Yes. I remember the bus barn when I was very little, going to take my dad his lunch.
What is that? That's Walk or AC. As I saw it on the front of the bus. I'm not entirely sure what that is.
Maybe that's over Walker Homes. Maybe yeah, Dragnet on Channel 3.
Oh man, that's hilarious. Yeah, K's sign for K's Jewelers and everything on the back of it. Guys, I'm just trying to.
Well, and it clearly shows. I mean, Memphis was and is a working class town.
Yeah.
And these are all working class parts of town, which are so important to the development of the city and the building of the city every day. Yeah. The city is being built by working people, and you see that. Of course, we have to remember that he's probably taking some of these images of places they're planning to tear down.
Yeah.
Because of course the bus barn eventually gets torn down. Beale Street gets gutted with urban renewal, and Myrtle, and
you're right. Because a lot of this gets torn down in the 70s.
That's right.
That's guys.
Right. I mean, within a decade, a lot of this stuff is gone. A lot of these buildings and are no longer with us. Yeah, the bus barn's gone at some point in the 70s, I believe, and relocated to another place.
Yeah. like, guys, I know that, guys, it'll kind of keeps moving towards, like, kind of west on Beale, this footage and everything.
Yes.
Another SO station.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think this is like footage where he's doing a survey for, like, and you'll see later on there's going to be a thing where they're doing like a laying of a sewer line down along.
Right, and needing to do that because they're looking at the infrastructure to what would be needed, residential homes, what kind of commercial business, commercial interests need to be.
That's Atlanta Life Insurance.
Yes, which is George W. Lee's, the company he represented.
You're about to be seeing in a second though the thing of the Persian Kitten. No, it's a nightclub that used to be Club Ebony. On everything. I don't think it's quite yet, but it'll be there soon. Or anything. Yeah, there it is. There it is. That's the little
It's
thing.
right there.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah. Well, and that's another aspect of this, why this is so important, because nightclubs don't exist in Memphis anymore. Obviously, Beale and Wellington, yes.
I think that intersection is gone now.
Yes, it is. Well, it's Wellington is what becomes Danny Thomas.
Okay.
So it's that whole Danny Thomas, Danny Thomas Boulevard area right there when you come up from Beale, past 4th and so on. Yeah, it's if you're coming back from the Forum, you run into that. It's a huge intersection now.
And we're still moving west on Beale.
And all this area is, even though a lot of the homes have been destroyed by this time, they were destroyed at a decade, or this is 1963, 64, then, there's Churches Park and the auditoriums.
That's where over there.
No, it's not. That's where, President Theodore Roosevelt spoke there. It was such an important gathering place for African Americans. And yes, that's completely gone. There's Beale Park at Churches Park. Sorry.
I think this is the part where we see like the old Daisy for a second, and then there's kind of that strip and everything. That's actually the funny thing is that's the Chop Suey cafe for the one of the first Chinese American restaurants as around this. That there's the old Daisy.
Well, and if this is 63, 64, right?
We actually were able to date this. It's not from here, but because on the new Daisy, there's a specific movie playing. What Happened to Baby Jane? And it's from February of 1963 and everything.
Okay, so the reason I say that is, you're already seeing the decline of Beale. Now, a decade before, in 1953, that area was still very populated. All these nightclubs. But see, by 63, that's beginning to change. The pressure's coming from. There's Handy Park, and W.C. Handy's statue, which isn't that old at this point. Couple of years. I think it was 58, 59, I think.
When they dedicated
the statue, I think. Because Richard Nixon in 1960, when he speaks here, he and his wife lay a wreath at Handy's statue.
Because he knew how much it was a big deal.
That's right. But see, it's the pawn shops had always been there, and all of that, but it's still hanging on. But it's definitely not what it had been a decade before, unfortunately. And of course, fast forward 10 years later, and it will be a ghost town.
Yeah, you and I have both seen. There's Burt's.
Yeah.
You and I have both seen the pictures of they kind of boarded up and everything.
Right.
It's kind of
it's
pretty sad, unfortunately.
Oh, very. We could have done so much better than what we did.
No, it's one of the things that I'm very sad about for the city is that, like, I never grew up being able to see this or like anything like this. That's the Orpheum.
Yeah.
It's sort of flubber, which is kind of funny.
Disney movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Got a little WGA poster right there.
Yes.
And then, like, you know, we're almost to the river. It's like, you know,
Yeah.
then this one will change to something else.
But see, that's the side of the Orpheum, right?
Yeah.
So you saw very briefly the stairs.
Yeah.
That could be used. It wasn't you could go in, and if you were African American, you could go in and go straight up.
Okay.
You couldn't sit what we would call now the orchestra area, but you could also take the back stairs. Or if if there was a need, if somebody wanted to leave in the middle of the movie or something, they could take those stairs. But that definitely was designed for African Americans to use during segregation.
It's like we're almost.
It's also a fire escape too, but
Yes.
And
we're definitely in that time period, like, you know, anyways, 1963, like, you know.
Goldsmiths. That was good to see that old siren.
Oh yeah, I miss Goldsmiths.
I do too.
This is another another survey of Beale. He because he's just kind of driving. You see Burt's, like, you know, more of the pawn shops and everything.
And it's a wonderful record, and it's still, compare this to what you would see, the photographs and images from 1968.
Yeah.
You see a completely different place even in 63, although you get the sense that this is starting to decline.
Well, part of it's because the interstate is like allowing shopping, people to shop like out east.
That's right. And but it's also a bit sad knowing that the reason why he's taking these images is because they're going to tear all this down.
Like, you know.
But thankfully they documented it, although that's not the reason they're taking the films. They're just doing it so that they can compare what was there to what they're going to be, what areas, which ones they're going to tear down, but which buildings they're going to gut, that sort of thing.
I know this one, like, there's Beale Street Baptist Church, let's say.
Yes,
From
yes, it is.
Yeah.
And how vibrant the business is now. If you go down there, First Baptist Beale, you could park, and there's during the day, and there's no traffic, hardly any.
And sadly, like, the area around Beale Street Baptist Church, like, none of this is there. It's kind of like a park, which is nice to have, but I kind of feel
Sada B. Wells Park now.
But I feel sad before.
Yeah,
I feel sad about not the businesses going under or being.
I do too. In these homes, people lived in some of these homes, and they're displaced, and a lot of them will end up in public housing, which even in 1963, public housing is still a decent place to live. But again, a decade later, you're trapped in poverty and you can't get out for a lot of people. And it becomes a completely different experience.
No, like this, I'm not quite sure if we've been able to locate exactly where that is. I tried. It's an intersection that I can't quite put my finger on, but it's obviously down there, kind of like in the southern part of downtown near Beale.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Well, there's the bus barn again.
Yeah.
And
it's like, pretty soon it'll show the sewer construction and everything.
if my dad could see this, he would have
loved it.
very happy to see this. Yeah.
Because, like, he worked there for
almost a decade. Yeah. But this is why it is so important that these films, home movies, other films are preserved.
Yeah.
Because that's captured there forever. We'll always be able to know what it looked like, not just from a still photograph, which is important too, but to see people walking down the street. Look at what they're wearing, how they're walking. you can speculate where they're going and
Like,
imagine their lives.
yeah, you get to see a moment captured in time.
That's right. Let's see this man, like this man here.
I have no idea who he is, but
No.
but it would be cool to know his life and everything.
Yeah.
This is where they're constructing the sewer, and you can see the awning briefly for like a Persian kitten / Club Ebony. You kind of see it right there. So like you can see this is like later on when they're actually doing things.
Right, and it should be pointed out that these films are not just tearing things down, but they're also putting in sewers, improving the lives of people. Better sewers helps everybody.
Now, and it's like, in a little bit they're gonna go down like that building. We figured it out. This is an MLG&W building today. In a second they're gonna go down into the sewers, like right here. This was the other parts were 8mm. This is 16mm and everything. You can see some.
And they switched to black and white too to get better contrast, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, because it's dark. It's dark.
Right, exactly. Color probably wouldn't have worked very well. Plus, you'll be able to see the workers and see what's. Can you imagine doing your kind of work?
Yeah, that's rough work.
It is.
That's pretty taxing. I'll say that. I'm certain.
But the men who are doing it also, I'm sure, know that what they're doing is important.
Yes, because like it's like having a better sewer system. They're improving their city.
That's right. And it's steady work, and it's. I don't think the pay was terrible, but also, what do we see? We see white and black workers doing the same kind of work. Both are skilled laborers.
Yes, like they're like
Skilled workers, not day laborers. These guys, this requires a certain set of skills and knowledge that you don't just pick up overnight.
these guys like this is their career, and they're
That's right.
like they're about to go out of the sewers in a second. As it's about to end, like but
The phone for emergencies.
yeah. Like they're hauling this like load by load the dirt, which is insane.
I know.
That's a
I don't know what's done now, but surely it's not as labor intensive as it was then.
that's a lot of trips just to get like that like all that dirt out of there.
Well, sure, and the guy who's driving, that's his job to drive, so he doesn't go down in the sewers. He's waiting until, and it doesn't take long, I'm sure, for his truck to get filled, and he heads on to the whatever they're using the dirt for. It's a fascinating glimpse of Memphis. It really is. Thank God for it.
Oh, Wayne, thanks for looking at it.
You bet.
All right.
You bet. That was fascinating. Some of the places were still around when I was a little kid. Reminds me of parts of Memphis that,
Yeah,
and I'm sure for many of our other viewers,
because you
lived through that period.
Thanks, Wayne.
But of course, thank you for asking me. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for joining us and watching these old films. Been a pleasure. Thank you for joining us on Memphis Room.